Hey guys, told you, remember, I'm in a filming mood, so I'm gonna film for as long as I can before I lose this light. So, this video is going to be actually a book video that I've been wanting to film for a little while. So remember when I told you, first of all, let me adjust this camera. It's like facing the wrong way. You don't need to see what's going on down here. So remember when I told you that I have just been straying away from YA, and so I have been wanting to get back into it, and I feel like the best way possible for me to do that is to reread some books that made me fall in love with YA in the first place. Now, I have quite a few books here, and I think all of them, no, some of them are YA, but then I also got to looking through my collection and I just found a bunch of other books that I feel like I need to reread just because I feel like that's where I need to start. So let me share some with you. So the first book that I have is a book that actually is now a movie. Movie's not out yet, but we've seen the trailer. We love the trailer. We hate the trailer. Most of us really enjoy the trailer. I personally was a little bit indifferent to it simply because I don't remember what happened in the book. So I figured, well, what a time to reread it so you can actually know what's going on. And that book is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I'm going to switch sides because this is the side that shows the horrible lighting. Boom, there we go. So this book, actually I read probably about a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I remember really liking it, but I don't necessarily remember everything that it's about. I own the second book. Yes, I do. I own the second book. But yeah, I figure before going into the second book, let's reread this first one. So one, I'm ready for the movie, and two, I know what the heck is going on when I pick up the second book. So I hope to actually do this year, simply because this would be a great way for me to get excited about books that I knew I loved before and really just get excited about reading young adult again. Now, this next book that I want to reread was my favorite vampire book ever. I have not read Twilight. You will never get me to read Twilight. I will not do it. So I have none of that frame of reference. I loved this book. It is the first book I've ever read by this author. I just loved it so much. Now, this is actually a random pick because this was not even on the forefront of my mind when I was looking for books to reread, but I happened upon it and I said, oh my God, I have to reread it. So I probably read this book a couple years ago too. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I forgot I even read a Holly Black book. How could I forget that I read a Holly Black book? I loved this book. It is still my favorite vampire book of all time. Like, I was obsessed with this book when it first came out. Like, I read it so quickly and I would not shut up about it after I read it. Like, I was obsessed with this book. I loved the dynamics in this book. I loved how dark it was. I loved the main character. I loved the male love interest. I remember loving this book so much because of how authentic the characters were and just how interesting everything was. So when I happened upon this and I was like, oh, we gotta reread it. I might save this for Halloween. I think I might do that. But yeah, I'm so rereading this book. Oh my gosh. If you guys haven't read The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, you need to read it. Okay, so this next book is a new adult book. And I actually have a couple of books by her, so I'm going to do these at the same time. And then I'm also going to tell you the reason why I chose these two books from this author. Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. Sorry about the lighting. And then Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This is my favorite Colleen Hoover book of all time. This, I think, honestly, is the best thing she's ever written. Because it encapsulates everything. The male protagonist in here is deaf, but he's a musician. There is a whole soundtrack that goes with this. It's how I got introduced to Griffin Peterson, who helped write the soundtrack. And I just thought this was a brilliant new adult contemporary romance. the approach that Colleen took to this book. She made it a whole campaign, a whole experience for the reader. That is why I love this book so much. This was just a book, not just, but this was the book that got me introduced to Colleen Hoover. I love this book. I still love it. It's probably second in my favorite Colleen Hoover book list. Now, the reason why I chose these two books is the simple fact that I am falling out of love with Colleen Hoover's writing. The past two books, or the last two books I've read of hers, Ugly Love and something else, have been misses for me. Ugly Love and what is that book with? Ugly Love is the blue book, and then there's Confess. Ugly Love and Confess. Those are the two books that I have read by Colleen Hoover that just missed the mark for me. I'm so incompatible with those books. I can't even believe how incompatible I was with them, and it hurt a lot because I love Colleen Hoover. And so I said, let me go back to the basics. Let me get back, start it from the bottom. I gotta go back to these because this is where my heart for Colleen started to form. And so I figured maybe if I do this, I will be excited for reading November 9, which I'm scared of reading. I'm scared of reading November 9 because I don't want to not like, or I don't want to be incompatible with another Colleen Hoover book. So I figured I would do this first, then November 9. We'll see, but I'm super excited to reread this. Super excited. The next book I want to reread is by my favorite contemporary author of all time. She wrote my favorite adult contemporary romance. This is the book that got me introduced to her, and I will forever be thankful because now I'm just one of her #1 people. I will promote anything she does. I will read anything she writes. And it is My Unexpected Forever by Heidi McLaughlin. I talk about this book all the time. It is seriously my favorite contemporary romance. The characters, Harrison in this book, I love musicians. I am a musician, but there was something about how Heidi wrote Harrison. He wasn't your typical alpha male musician. He was a man who was a musician, but was a father. And there was something about this book, other than all the romance and the feels, that just made me love this book. There was something in this book that just made me think, oh my gosh, there is nothing that's going to top the dynamic between Harrison being a father who is falling in love, who happens to be a musician. I loved it. I have to feel the feels again, people. I have to feel them again. Now, if you know me, and I hope that you do, this book will not surprise you in the least. I haven't read this book since, let me pull it up. I want to see how long it's been since I read this dang on book. I haven't read this book in almost 3 years. What? So we're going to rectify that. And it is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Come on, guys. You had to have known that this would be in here. I need to go back. I need to revisit, and I need to feel all the feels. I need to catch things that I didn't catch the first time. I need to feel the love of Jason Clary again. I need to feel that angst, that tension, everything. Because for goodness sake, I have a love rune with a love quote from the City of Glass tattooed on my right arm. There's something about this series that I will never be able to let go of. And I want to experience it again. I want to do it all again. So book 1, I'm hoping summertime I will be starting this. This is a new cover, obviously the hardcover from Barnes & Noble, and it's Simply Divine. But yeah, I need this. I need this again. I need it. And then the final book is not really something I need to reread. It's just something I need to keep reading, and I really need to focus on having it in my life a little bit more. I feel like last year I let it kind of slip away, and I need to let this be a constant in my daily life. And you guys know where I stand, in terms of being a woman of faith. And so you know that I'm talking about the Bible. This one is my Bible. This is my Everyday Matters Bible for women. The reason why I like it is because it has encouraging passages in it. I have tabbed it all up. I have a little bookmark in here. I have underlined, you know, various passages that have stuck with me over the years, but also over the years I've kind of, not over the years, over the past year, I've kind of fallen away from it. So I really need, oh my gosh. I just opened up to a passage that I actually needed to hear. Anyway, I need this. I need to have this in my life right now because, or in every day, but especially right now, simply because, you know, you get a little clouded on your journey. You come to that fork in the road, and in that fork in the road, there's 10 different pathways, and you just need to know that you're taking one that is guided in the right information. So I am probably going to start a personal like online Bible study or something, not necessarily something that's super intense. I just want something that I can reflect upon daily and just have that moment between, you know, me and God, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, whenever I find the time to really just sit, read, listen, and then just, you know, reflect. And I feel like that's something that I need to do for me. So yeah, the Bible. That's my final one. So those are the books I feel I need to reread. Let me know what some of your rereads are for the year if you have any. If there are any books that you feel you need to reread, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure you are subscribed to my channel for more stuff from this girl. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.